How do you make your sex life interesting and not boring, especially when you're not in the mood? I have one which is related to that again, which says, one, how do I deal with female friends of your husband, i.e. the phone, say like he's always chatting even at odd hours? What do you do when your hubby decides to go quiet? You ask what's going wrong and he says nothing, but you have that feeling that all is not well at all with him. That's those three, I think they are related, so I think we can tackle those together. So to start with this one about a man going quiet, of course there must be a reason. And I think when we were discussing about communication, this came out. And those are now the areas you need to understand. And maybe one thing I could say, once you get to live together as husband and wife, you start learning each other. There are things he likes, there are things he doesn't like. So what he doesn't like, there are things he likes, there are things he doesn't like. There are things you like, there are things you also doesn't like. Like I'm sure many women, we don't like men removing socks and natupa naacha kwa kiti. Some of them kick like that, so anavuruta inafika hapo and then phew, it goes like that. So it all depends on our upbringing. We are brought up in different backgrounds. So you find this one, the mother taught differently, your mom taught you differently. Your mom has taught you how to take care of a home and putting, you have a dust at the door. Sometimes men don't see that. They just walk in. Nafanya hivi kidogo, nyumba ni yake. Why are you telling him to remove the shoe na ingia kwake? That is where now his authority is felt. So we find that we are different. So for me, I would say maybe try and investigate. Try and provoke him to speak through the things he likes. You get? Try to, don't force it, but try and do something he likes so that you're trying to bring him to speak why he's quiet. Because he's the one who has now initiated the nil by mouth policy. You get? So you also don't say, kama aongei shauri yake, hata mimi nitanyamaza. Yes, atajipanga. By the way, that is the vocabulary. Atajipanga. So, chakula, are you eating or not? You get? So the man feels, did I bring nilioa bibi amane? So you don't, ama you utume mtoto. By the way, don't use children to fight your wars and involve them in communication. Nenda wambia babako chakula iko ready na kuje kula kama ataki aseme. You get? Even the tone you're using, even the children will know hapa ni kubaya. It's not right. You're also teaching the children. And let me tell you, children start learning when they are very young. So for me, what I think in this case, try and investigate pole, what is making him quiet, what is making him, because all of a sudden there must be, is it the office? And let me tell you, sometimes people go through issues in the offices. The next question is how to deal with female friends of your husband, the ones who chat with him on phone, even at odd hours.
It is two-way. Sometimes a man will actually do that just to make you feel that ukicheza kuna mwingine. And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes. And I know this young generation is so much into that, I don't know why. And sometimes it is true that there's somebody else on the side who's taking much of his attention. That's why his attention is not fully at home. And it is unacceptable. To me, I always say you should not also, you're our daughters, we want to help you, but you should also not accept just everything that comes, just because you're a Christian woman and you're supposed to know things that you can ask or handle, try to handle them in the right way. Like for that question, I would make a very nice dinner and say, today we have special dinner, and have dinner and then bring up the issue so that it's coming out from a positive, you know. It's not like he waits when he's at home, ebu zima hiyo TV.
You're not listening to me.
Usiki because you're watching zima TV. Huyu ni nani? And let me tell you, do you know, the most difficult person to chunga, he is a man. 26 years experience, ask me. You can't chunga them, whatever you do. Me, I know how to chunga them only one way. On my knees. I don't talk. This has worked for me. Prayer. And let me tell you, when you begin to connect with God so deeply and pray, in fact, he will begin to sense and feel something. Hata kitaka kufanya kitu, anasema tu, no, my wife prays. 2, remember, you are working, the enemy is not happy to see a marriage alive. And unfortunately, that is the weakest part of a man, women. Right from the Old Testament to the New Testament, it is all about infidelity from David, kila mahali. From Abraham, actually. It is only God who can put love in your heart and in his heart for him. Ask God to put love in his heart for you. And that other person, you begin to pray them off, actually. Yeah. Pray them off. Me, I know it works. I'm telling you what I know works. Pray them off because there are certain things you can't do anything about. There are some ladies who actually go to witch doctors. Umesikia wanaenda mpaka Tanzania siku hizi. And they come. So these poor men of ours don't even understand these things. Anaenda mahali innocently, anapikiwa chapati, imekaliwa, ikawekwa sijui nini, and the man akikula chapati anasema, my wife doesn't even cook like this. Hey, kumbe amewekwa, kusema wanaweka kwa chupa, amewekwa kwa chupa. So himself he can't see. He can't see. So the only way, you as the pillar of the home, you will help your husband by praying for him, because hizo vitu hata zikifanywa because you are praying haziwezi. In fact, that woman wataanza kusema wewe umeenda in a higher level. They will start saying ati huyu usimcheze, anaendanga kwingine. So don't chunga mwanaume hivyo. Okay, it's good to be alert also, and don't be ignorant of the devices of the enemy, because you also don't want to, a man who's sleeping around with everybody, then you come and also contract AIDS, unaanza don't be stupid. That one, don't be stupid. But pray. Look for communication, a way that you can talk to him about these girls or ladies he's talking to. And then I discovered there's a breed of men who are like that. Because it's a breed of men. No, I'm serious. Because I told you I've been talking to a few marriages, and I've discovered that there's a breed of men who are like that. So you need to know how to handle them and ask and just talk to them and say, come forth when you are in a positive environment and say, honey, you know, when you talk to these people, I don't like it. I'm not happy. And I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't know what to do when you're talking to them, because I don't know whether to trust you. I don't know whether they're your workmates. And you give an example and say, honey, you know, like, if I was to talk to other men like that, how would you feel? If you just ask him, if you are the one who is doing it, how would he feel? Because he would also start taking your phone to scroll. So try to talk, because when it comes to infidelity, it's a very hard one. It's a very hard one. Me, I know it's only broken proper by prayer. You talk about it by broken proper by prayer, because the other thing is that once, even to a woman, once a man sleeps with another woman, it's like a spirit. It's a spirit. Ikishaingia kwisha. It replicates. And it depends on the kind of woman he sleeps with. Because akilala na ule mwanamke akona mapepo ya hiyo, because that woman has been sleeping with others. You can imagine, ana collect hizo mapepo zote, alafu zinarudi, sasa zinakaa ndani yake. So even if he wants, anasema leo sitafanya na nitawacha, nitakaa vile niko. Tomorrow when he sees somebody just a skirt here, yeah, he's finished. He's just looking for where can I get a room, you know, because those spirits are in him. And until God actually delivers him from them, it's not possible. So you as the woman of the house, let me give, whoever asked that question, let me give you this challenge. I want you to take time and pray for your husband. Do not stop until you come back to tell us, God kweli anasikia maombi.
Of sex, not in the mood. A man will see a lady just naked.
That is it.
And that has put him on fire, and he's like, oh, where is she? But a woman, we had some lessons, and this preacher was telling us, a woman is like lighting a jiko. Unapepeta, unabadilisha mlango iangalie pande ile, where the baridi is going, unaongeza karatasi. Kitambo awake, you have worked. And I believe it is God made us that way. And men have to appreciate us that way, and they have to understand and take us that way. But what I encourage and say, a man, you know, usiku, atakwambia, my dear, I'm ready for this. You had no sign. You needed some sign to prepare yourself. Him is like, if we can have sex shortly and we sleep, fine, I'm okay with that. You have no idea. Do you know this is your husband? You have to give in. Because when you don't accept, or when you don't, unless you're extremely tired, is when you will say no, whatever. So I'm trying to demystify the mood issue and encourage him, if he can do the texting, you know, send you a text, tell him, please remind me, just to prepare me psychologically, that I'm prepared in the evening, however tired I will be, at least I can. Because one, I look at him and say, I look at a man and say, if you don't give into sex when he wants, where else will he go to? That means he has to look for somebody else. You're making this man sin while he was not ready to sin. Who is to blame? It is you, as the woman, because you are there, and marriage is a commitment. I think we've told you before, Lillian and I, where we come from, we say, you have gone to cook. That is part of cooking. You're cooking for that man, if I may want to translate it directly. Yes, unapika mpaka bedroom.
If you love your husband, there are things you do even when you don't feel like doing. Like sometimes I don't feel like cooking, but because he's there, I have to really push myself into cooking something that he will appreciate and eat, just because it's my responsibility, it is my duty. Sometimes I don't want to do it. Sometimes it could be sex you don't want, but you have to push yourself to just give in. And you know, I think it's also, if it's a mood that is frequent, that is a strategy the enemy is using to break your family. So what you need to do is to begin to pray to God to put you in the mood. You should note that men hardly say sorry, as you know, especially the Kenyan men. I don't even know when they go to pray to God whether they tell God sorry.